Welcome, guys. We're back. This is Finance Media Lifestyle. It's really thrilling after a long period of time to be here again. Like really thrilling, and I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, excited to be here as well. But when you say long period of time, I thought we just met a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely.
In fact, we still meet on a daily basis and we talk.
Yeah,
now we are called close pals, like brothers.
exactly.
But,
Definitely. But no, I'm just saying. It's been a while. I've met my audience. Do you understand? I'm not talking about who's talking about you. I'm not talking about you. Hey, excuse, please. Okay, so talking about it has taken a while and stuff like that. There has been this massive conversation, okay, that has been happening over the time. That has changed. Many people believe that change is constant. Okay, change is something that always have to happen. And some people believe that there is no change. But that's another theory of thought. Like everything is static, like no change is really happening. But that's not what we want to talk about. That everything might be true, everything might be static, things might not really change, like when we talk about the essence. But when we look around the appearance and we look around evolution that have taken place over the years, you find out that, of course, change has taken place. And I want to believe that this massive change we're talking about today is just like Charles Darwin said, when evolution comes, you can't stand with the evolution. Evolution eats you up. So, which brings me to the real conversation of today. Okay, change, the power of change, how change can literally transform or break an SME our business. So, like, looking at the power of change, what important do you think change goes a long way to play in the business world in general?
Even with whatsoever you do, change is important. You have to change the way you think. You have to change your mindset. You have to change the structures and policies you put in place for your business to go and for your business to roll. And change for SMEs to break even. You need to apply some kind of structural change to your business. You have to apply operational change to your business. You have to apply some mentality that you need to behold for that business to grow. You get my point? So these are things that are crucial for SMEs and businesses.
Exactly.
If we look deep again, you see that SMEs need to concern themselves with what is in vogue. What is in vogue now make you change how you're putting things in place. What is in vogue always comes in with a new trend, comes in with the latest things in town. So if what is latest is difficult for you to adapt to, it's difficult for you to be dynamic with, you might find it difficult to grow.
Yeah, I totally understand. I think I can really relate. It's why I'm saying I can really relate is because you just talked about adaptability, to be able to change with time. Pass back, okay, before these computer ages started and all, basically we're doing writing, and we're writing and computer came along, and when computer came along, many people were still feeling like, oh, no, we have to stick to our writing. We need to follow up with our writing and stuff like that. But today, most of the things we have done, most of the things we are doing now, we use the computer, we use our laptop, we use these things, you understand? We can begin to talk about the world today is a global village through the internet and everything, okay? So just the same way now, a new system have come into place, this whole AI stuff and everything. This is how change comes into place. And if you don't follow up as well, evolution takes its course. So it is imperative, like it's so imperative for SME brands to learn to follow the change, to like follow up. I know it can be difficult to change sometimes. We must really also,
it can be
really difficult to change. Yeah,
it's important. It can be, and it's very imperative for SME companies and entrepreneurs to follow up with the trend of change. in business policies, with the trend of change in policies, in policy structures. You can't, like, you as a business enterprise and as an entrepreneur, you surely need to put in what your political factor when considering business, when considering structures to put in place for your business. So these political factors can help you to forecast well and help you to stand sustainable in financial terms, in terms that you want to grow in with. You talked about those that still got adapted.
Yes,
that got addicted to that aspect of writing when typewriter. I said when typewriter, when computer came.
Yeah.
And this computer is something that Bill Gates went to meet Warren Buffett and told him in those days that Warren, you're going to need a computer in the next few years. Warren told him, like, what makes you think I'll need a computer? I don't need a computer. And look at where the computer is today. Microsoft is everywhere, in every computer, in everything we do. And this Microsoft of a thing is it brings me down to even when Steve Jobs said, well, he was going to take a computer, a CPU, and put it into a laptop. Right now, hardly do this present generations even know hardly do they know how the first generation computer looks like. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe
of course, so much change has
exactly, of course, because now people need to know, SME owners and entrepreneurs needs to get used to it. They need to understand they need to get used and accustomed to the fact that change occurs in businesses and change occurs in every day of life in their business route.
Exactly.
So anytime you're doing anything, you're trying to put in structures in place, you need to check in the change that will occur. You need to check in the business structures of change that you have to put in place for your business to grow and elevate in a surviving environment. As an SME person, you need to also think of how to move from survivor, from just meeting ends to building up skills. Because as an SME now, you have to take your mind. That's what I'm saying. You change the way you think. You've started something. If you're thinking to meeting up ends, no. Change from meeting up ends to building up skills. That's the structural policy we talked about. When you have a good structural policies, it enhances your financial credibility. It enhances you to be financially stable. And you can easily, when you have good financial stability, you will have you have propensity to have multiple streams of income.
Okay, now you just made mention of something, right? Okay, and there's a lot of people that feel, okay, this change have come now. It's more of a threat to me. But you need to understand that those people that tend to see change more as an opportunity rather than a threat, because previously I made mention of how a lot of people say, oh, okay, computer is here right now. I'm not following up on the computer. I'm not going to be doing that on the computer. But hey, look at computer. Computer is here. Okay. Now the same thing is AI. And people I feel like, why would you expect to use AI to follow up on these? Why would you want to use AI to follow up on these? But here we are. AI is gradually going, and as an SME or you are in business presently right now, you need to be looking at the new future, because we know that AI is about to go into becoming the new future. It is the new future. Okay, so you need to follow up with the change. Rather than seeing it as a threat to your business, you need to look at the opportunities, how you can take full advantage of these things. Okay, so and that is, sometimes change can come as a threat. Do you understand?
Bro. On that note, saying I agree with you. Yeah, but there's nothing. Everything that is good also has the bad part. You get my point? Like this, the person who created this AI you're talking about.
Yes.
He talked about the bad effect of AI.
Exactly.
And he talked about the good effect of AI. Exactly. But as we are right now, change is something that every SME business needs to put in place in order to see their business grow for substantial financial buoyancy. And if you do all of this, putting change in place in your structural way of policies, putting change in place in your in the way you build your business, the branding you give your business, the vision you put, you're propelling your business, the expansion of the of the vision and the mission of the business, why the business is going to succeed.
Okay, so in other words, right now the thing is, SMEs or businesses out there should not see change more as a threat. Rather, they should focus on the advantages that change is bringing along the way,
of course,
and see a way where they can take full advantage of that of those policies. Okay, let me just take paraventure, like the tax reform for these SMEs. We know how this policy is really great for SME companies. Okay, and at that moment in time, you need to look at, okay, this change is a whole change that is also coming in. Yes, we're talking about is great for the for SMEs. They have the opportunity to do this. They have the opportunity to do that. But there are still a lot of people that are accustomed to the old system. Okay, and this is a new change, and they're like, okay, this new change, you're asking me for this one now. Will I be able to follow through? And it's a problem. And before they could really maybe get a hold of the system, you find out that I feel like they're not following the system properly.
You see, one thing I say that, we as a human can develop is you tend to be attached. You're too much attachment to what you're used to doing. You don't want to work. You don't want to change to do new things. So, as an entrepreneur and a business owner, you need to understand that in doing these things, in doing businesses, you need to understand the power a change can bring in.
But sometimes the change doesn't necessarily maybe changing business anyhow. We're talking about changing some of the structure within your business. Like, you're still focusing on your business, but you're talking about changing some structure that will help to push your brand more forward.
As a business owner, you need to for you to be able to have your business grow to success. You need to sometimes you need to focus more on your business than working inside on your business. Just some business owners feel, okay, I've started the business, I want to undo all of this, I want to undo everything. No, sometimes you need to sit back, watch the business from afar, and focus on that business road. Look at that business from every angle outside of that business. Then you'll be able to see what is causing stagnancy that's not making elevation to occur. Exactly. You'll be able to see what is making this company just be on the trend of let me just say on an average trend, or just be on that place instead of going to the next big place that it deserves. When you sit back and observe from outside, you get these things,
and that can give you an opportunity for you to see the change that is really needed. It can also give you the opportunity to really see the change and say, okay, like a very big example was Apple, right? When Steve Jobs was kicked out of Apple. Okay, that period of time when Steve Jobs was kicked out of Apple and he was doing other things, there was it was a reviewing process for him as well. That when he came back to Apple, he had already seen a lot of things that he did wrong. Like not like did wrong, but like it feels like, okay, this is okay. Like the vision became whole, okay, and he came back and implemented those things that he has seen from afar, those ideas, he implemented them, created the necessary change that Apple needed during that period of time.
And look at Apple today. And even this has helped me as an individual, because when I entered into the finance business some years back, I get myself to when I first got in, I didn't there's a vision, there's a mission that is backing the word, that is backing the passion hub. But over time, over years, you need to learn to rebrand. But I reinvented myself, and I'm still doing reinventation, because I'm still reinventing myself.
I think reinventing of oneself should be continuous.
Yeah,
because we're talking about the markets now. We just talked about the market. We said the market is everly changing. So, and if the market is everly changing, although, like I said initially, a school of thought that believe things are static, but we know the market is always changing regularly, And if the market is always changing, you need to also change. You need to also adapt to the system. You need to also be able to follow what is trending and see. So definitely changing with the system
change is very consistent.
Key. And changing to know, okay, this is what I do. How can I make it better? What can I change to make it better?
Change is imperative, and every business owner needs to see the benefits of it. Change is very imperative in your way you handle your business, in the way you handle your customer relations, in the way you deal with your employees, in the way you deal with the daily inflows and outflows for the daily operation of the business. You know, how you put these things into place as an SME and as an entrepreneur is very important for you to check. How do you every SME out there and entrepreneur that you do not joke with change, and you put change of structures that can affect your business positively and affect your business in a very positive and well liquidable way to make your business grow.
Exactly, because you don't even know when these things probably might come. Okay, you don't even know when they say, like in 2020. I know many people say, okay, it's 5 years after the pandemic, but a lot of things happen that even some nations presently right now, they are still trying to get a scope of the whole thing, because with the whole hyperinflation and everything that happened and stuff like that. So, but the thing is, those nations that already understand that, okay, this change have come, how do we position ourselves to see that things are not as usual before, so as we'll be able to contain these whole economical issues? They are doing well right now, because why? They've been able to apply that change.
And these are the people we call the smart leaders. They are the ones that take care and put the care of their citizen at heart. And these smart leaders do something that most citizens don't even know that their leader does. Maybe because they see it as a normal way the leader should do it. These smart leaders see that this change is coming, and the first thing they do is they get a precautionary rules and regulation that what they know that might want to cause some harmful effect to their citizens or to their school of thought or to their society. So what they do first is create a precautionary they create a precautionary policies and rules for these things to not affect them in the wrong way. Then they tune on the advantage of it. For example, now in technology, there's AI invention and innovation in technology. And that's not the only thing you need to look at when you're looking at your business structure. You can look at good leadership in your business structure. How are you dealing with your customers? How are you dealing with your employees? How are you making your employees learn the power of good relationship with customers? Because your employees need to learn from you. You need to learn from scenarios that happen in your business.
Exactly. So, see, the thing is, for me, I believe we all know that change is inevitable.
Of course.
It's inevitable. And the truth is this, as an SME, and this a believer, I strongly believe as well, as an SME, it is better when you are the one leading that change, you stand out. Because when change happens, it's normal that many people will not want to flow with the tide, because they are not too sure. They don't really know what is going to happen. So they are still skeptical about the whole thing, the whole idea. But the truth is, if you take control of that change, okay, you take control of that change and try to say, okay, let me see these things, you stand out. Like rightly made mention of AI. If you start implementing AI into your business gradually, now you're already starting to know it. You're gradually understanding it. By the time it comes a thing, it's no longer like, hey, this thing is just coming to my face. If I knew, I would have followed earlier. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do. And even as an SME and an entrepreneur, you need to understand that when applying change, you need to apply change to two specific things in your life: your revenue and your cost. Because when you apply change to your revenue now, applying change to your revenue also talks about what you putting up for some kind of investment. An employee some kind of an employee, or let me say an entrepreneur, may just want to invest into the financing industry alone.
Yeah.
And this might, if there is a crash down in the financing industry, it might cause you a ripple effect. I could remember when a friend of mine just, I was telling him that why do you want to go into monopolization of what? Monopoly of investment. Okay. Why don't you just diversify your investment? Right? You don't invest in agro, invest in manufacturing, invest in what, financing. He said no, you just want to invest in agro. I'm like, all right.
He wants to go to.
He just
but he doesn't know
invest
change was coming.
I'm like, okay, why don't you just split these portfolios, portfolio investments? Say no, it's okay with agro.
Okay.
Well,
sorry, I just can't have it. You know why I'm laughing? Because I remember that period, and I know it was very messy, but it's fine.
Very messy.
Okay, please continue.
I'm talking about losing lots of money.
Exactly, I understand.
And, but hopefully, he applied a change to his streams of income.
Exactly. But funny as it is, he's smiling right now because I think he got himself back now, right?
He
followed through the change. Like, he didn't allow that to pull him down.
He didn't allow that.
That's another thing again about change, right? Sometimes when you're following through with change, especially when you're one of these pioneers, like pushing change, sometimes it can hit you hard. That some people say, thank God I didn't follow you to do I didn't follow you to try this thing. Are you getting what I'm trying to say?
It's very hard. Like,
exactly.
I want to
I'm telling you.
I don't want to feel it anymore.
Exactly. But now that is where consistency comes into play.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is where stamina, muscle, because that's business. Okay. Over the course of time, like I've been doing business, I've come to understand that you see that these struggles, these trying times, like, okay, these are the times you build your muscles to say, okay, fine. Oh, this thing actually go wrong. What are my calculations? Because for you to, first of all, calculate that, man, I'm following this change, I'm following this tide, it's going to happen. So when something hits you, something is missing. All you need to do is go back, and that's why I respect him a lot. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He went back on his driving board. He looked at himself and properly said, "Oh, okay. I guess maybe I went too hard.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm going to go in right now, check into the waters, and see what I did wrong." And he did it, and he paid for him.
He's having a good life.
He definitely
but then it was almost tough. Like,
exactly.
It caused a lot of things. But thankfully, he's okay right now.
Exactly.
So, and that's what we say. And when we talk about change is not when we are saying you change something today, you change something tomorrow.
No.
When you try to implement a change today, right now, you keep it on a consistent pace to watch it work. Keep it on a consistent pace to watch it work, to make it grow, to make it develop. And when you see this, it is when you feel like, okay, this thing I'm keeping on this consistent pace, you give it a 90-day drift, it's not working. Why not? You can apply another kind of a change. A 90-day drift on a business policy structural change is important, because that's talking about your day-to-day cash flow on 90 days. How the effect of the increase in the acquisition of assets, in liquidity assets, and liquid assets, the decrease in in how you've been able to settle some of your obligations. You get my point? So putting change to these things really also matters. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you need to understand that change is very, very important. It's imperative, and it has nothing to do with you just doing it back. No, you do it, you keep it on a consistent pace, you give it a rest.
To grow.
Yeah, you allow it to grow. It has every right to grow. It is not the day you plant a seed that it grows. It germinates.
You have to allow it to grow.
Allow it germinate. You let it grow. Definitely. So that is it.
Okay. All right. That's cool. So another thing again, it's change sparks innovation. Change is powerful. Like, don't feel like you need to be stuck in your old ways. Be open. Okay. Be open to learn new things. Be open to look at other brands and say, okay, what is these people doing differently? What am I doing? How can I merge this thing? Okay. And yeah, definitely. the business will grow. You have to be consistent.
Yeah.
Applying that change inside your consistency.
Yeah.
So let's take peradventure, you're growing a business and you say, okay, I normally put this for sales. I normally put this to purchase. Okay, now I want to try to purchase more this time around. I want to see how I can increase my sales manpower this time around. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And then you implement policies in place where these people are going to work to maximum capacity to make sure that you get the returns of those changes that you have put in place. Exactly.
Yeah, of course. And if I'll be honest with you, bro, one of the things change has done for me is it has taught me to spend. And but not just spend anyhow, but to spend wisely. You know, before you just think why do I have to buy these things? You know, when you're scared, something like you're scared to stretch forth an hand that already needs to be stretched.
Exactly.
Do you get it? But now you are not stretching for that hand because you really don't know the essence of that why that hand is being stretched. But by the time you know the essence of why that hand is being stretched, you get to stretch it out in full.
Exactly.
So when you spend wisely to the revenue that is coming back in to the company or into your pocket. So most SMEs just tend to say, okay, this cost has come right in front of me. I got to sign it up. I got to partake. I got to enjoy in this cost. I got to do it. Oh, my business needs to grow. And they just sign it up. And then they keep wondering, what's going on? I thought if we do this thing, it's going to turn out. No. What are you like? This cost you're spending on, how is it going to affect your revenue? Your revenue increase? How is it going to maximize your revenue? How is it going to optimize your business? So the change you want to apply in the way you're spending and in the way you want to make more money, it matters. So this structural change talks about innovation, and it brings about skills development. Because when you want to do these things, you have to develop. That is talking about the reinvention of you, the reinventing of oneself, and recreating or rebranding of yourself.
Exactly.
So doing these things under change we create for development. And when you're developed, you get to be good in if it's at technology, if it's at management, if it's at gathering the smart people in the rooms together, ensuring that the goals are being achieved at a very fast pace and in the right manner. You know, when you gather the smart people in the rooms and you put them together, that's a kind of a skill management. It's not something that just fall out of nowhere. It's something that develops. It's something that it helps you in gathering things and making sure that rooms are open for opportunities to be created and for opportunities to grow.
Okay, yeah, that's true. So the truth is, we can't take away the power of change. We can't just talk much about it because it's a broad topic. It's wide. Okay, so and as a businessman, definitely you will change. Definitely you should apply those necessary change that your business needs. Okay, you need more manpower. Go for it. You need to equip yourself, put yourself out there, become visible, train your staff so that they can meet up with the trend of things that are in trend. You go for it. At the end of the day, you need to be able to always reinvent your business. We're going to go on a short break right now, and when we come back, we'll see how we can talk more on this change and see where we can finalize it. Welcome back. So yeah, we've been having a really, really, really robust full conversation, and I've been really, really enjoying myself. Like I've been enjoying myself so much to learn, so much to understand about how change can reshape and redirect our footsteps to the right direction if we use it right, and also like bring down, or I don't want to use the word to say if we don't do the right calculation. Okay, and before I went on the short break, I made mention of AI is the future. Okay, and how powerful a change AI can be for SME brands. okay, and how SME brands should start capitalizing on it, because it's a change that is coming. And even if you want to say, oh, okay, this thing might not last, don't tell yourself that. This is a change. It's going to come and it's going to happen. So what are those things you can feel like you can say, okay, for you to finally start, what's the word? Positioning yourself for change. Exactly. Yes, change. Exactly. To structure yourself properly so that change can play advantage to you.
If you want to position yourself for change, you need to, as a business owner and SME business owner, you need to look at what is actually working for you. I know you want multiple streams of income, of course. You're eager to have it, but you need to stay okay. You need to stay consistent to what works for you. Now, putting yourself for change is like the structure you apply on your relationship with your customers. Do you get me? On what's working as an SME, because you have to deal with customers and your vendors. You get your suppliers and your suppliers and your creditors.
Exactly.
You get my point. So you need to get accustomed to how the relationship is.
Your customers.
Yeah, your customers, like your customers. So you need to, and again, you might want to change the way you employ your staff. Because you might want to look for someone who is, are you here to grow with us, or you're just here to be part of us for the meantime? So because it is something visionary. You don't think anymore for the next 2 years. You think for the next 10 years.
5
That's
years.
a decade. 5 years, 10 years upward.
That's right. Because when you were talking about change, and you were talking about knowing the business you are into, and not just wanting to follow multiple streams, like, oh, okay. So another way I feel like, because we'll be hitting on change. Another way one can restructure this change within himself. Like, if you find something that works, okay. I wanted to cite an example. You find something that works, like a friend of mine, John. He found something that works, okay. And when he found what works, he invested into that thing. And when he invested into it, he looked into this business and said, okay, all right. And I think this is another thing many people don't really understand. Like, he looked into this business and said, okay, I want to go into computers. Okay. And I want to go into this computer. I want to be serious about it. I want to see the end of it. And he invested his capital into it. He started studying it. He started looking at some setting of his paths that when doing this thing, then he implements such change into his business. And then you see, there's a difference. So sometimes we need to understand that when we talk about change, it doesn't necessarily mean you should leave whatever thing you're doing and switch into something else and say, oh, this is what is raining now, let me jump on it. No. Whatever thing that you feel that is working for you, you can look inward into that thing. Like we just made mention of AI. We talk about how powerful AI is. AI is coming to sweep the thing and stuff like that. And all you need to do is to take this element and implement it into your business and use the advantages of those things that can help to upgrade or uplift your business.
AI is something that is coming very, very in a very, very big way, that it's going to change the way of things, streams of income, possibly, because it's the revolution of things now. We have presently now, there are AI apps that you use to monitor your portfolio management that are very good in monitoring.
And what you just said now, how many SMA brands know this? So this means that these are some of the changes that are taking place. So it shows that now you can look into your business and say, oh, okay, this is my business that I'm doing is dragging. I want to fast in terms of customer, giving back customer
every SME is what the world always wants. Everybody is multiple streams of income. But before you can get multiple streams of income, this present one that is earning for you must be on a stable rate, so that you are so comfortable with it. Then you have more multiples of income or streams of income that is flowing in, and then you can tax on and backstory. So as this AI thing now, you can use it to monitor your investment portfolio.
Yeah, that's AI. We all know how powerful AI can be. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But now, AI is just like one segment of a whole lot of changes that happens in a business.
Yeah, AI is just the tech part of it.
It's just a
that is
segment. So there
affecting
are other,
everything. You know, AI is because AI is going to affect everything eventually.
I
You
know.
get my point.
Okay.
So it's just a part of segment. Okay, look at someone who is a furniture maker, for example. Might think AI won't affect this is the kind of work it does, but AI affects it. You can get an AI app to design a kind of a wood furniture, a structure of a chair that's going to befit, a new structure of chairs that's going to be okay.
Yes, I understand.
Like if AI is something that will affect the littlest.
So which means it's important. So which means it's important that every industry get a grip about it. Yeah. So that's one change that industries should also be looking into, like exploring, which is just like an AI, one aspect of AI. So that's just exactly. So that's just one aspect. What other changes do you feel like SME brands can also look into, like to see how?
Maybe there are a lot of changes, a lot of things, but like you say, is as you are, the first thing you want to do is repeating what is working. When you get accustomed to what is working, it might be boring. In fact, it's going to be boring, but you just keep doing it. You keep doing it. You're consistent with it. Then, while doing it, you're not just doing it and leaving it. No, you might be doing it and looking deep inward. You're just a musician that starts making music. There will get to a time that your style of music, you will want to change it. You can't compare the way the style of music might be on the rhythm for a long time, but there'll be a little change in that style of music, in that rhythm of it. So it wasn't that it's not consistent in releasing albums. It was consistent releasing albums. Do you get my point? So because whether I like it or not, all these artists, they're also SMEs. They are making a living for themselves. So it's consistent in releasing albums.
Of course, definitely. As you grow, as you matured, you started applying little changes into your music. Okay. What advantage would you say, like, for an SME brand, just like you just rightly made me sure of right now? You just talked about the musician right now. Looking into his capital and looking on, okay, how can I build myself? Because music is a career, but as well, they have a business the business aspect of that career is also there, and you need funds to be able to push your craft as well. So, like, what do you think that music of these days, like those days, you sell music on the cassette and all and stuff like that. So, what do you think, like, musicians of these days are jumping on that they need to hold very tight? Going to go on a short break right now, and when we come back, we'll see how we can talk more on this change and see where we can finalize it. All right. Okay. So we're back. Thank you guys for still being here. Like, it's big, and the conversation is big as well. So the power of change.
Yeah, exactly.
The power of change. So we're still on it, and that's another thing I wanted to say. Like, what advantage do you think that change play for SME in their business? Major advantages that changes can play.
I think it should be put out there to ask what do people think that an advantage of change can be to the SME person. As an SME, to me, you need to look at it. If you want to change your way of business, you need to look at the leadership structure. You need to look at the technological structure. You need to look at what you use for your financial models and how you handle your finances. How the customer behaviors and how you handle your workers. What's your relationship with them? Changing these things can also help pivot your businesses harder.
That's true. Because I was working on a project, and literally we were supposed to work with 16 people. Okay, we're supposed to work with 16 people, and we had below the number of people we were supposed to use. to work, and everybody has already been given what they're supposed to do. Okay, and now it means that there are some works there that nobody is handling because we have shortage of manpower. Okay, so right there and there, so much change took place. So much change took place in the sense that
must have cost a lot.
It did cost a lot, but the most important thing was the working system. Okay, the shout out to the producer. The working system, the producer, he was able to make sure that he reallocated the work. Okay, he reallocated the work. He was able to share the work across without making the workers feel the heat.
This thing
usually like they would have.
This thing of mediation, it has brought me to where you're in the media industry. How does it feel like, has it ever occurred like a director went for your shoot, wants them to do everything, set up the whole place, then all of a sudden he just packed it up because of some kind of misconduct? How do you think like if such a thing happened, how do you intend to cope? How do you intend to just flow in and not make the loss go in for the whole people?
Well, the truth is this. This is what we're talking about. On situations like that, that's a big change right in the production. Okay, because before you go into a production, there need to be a proper preparation. Okay, so you that know you want to go into a production, all right, you want to go into any production you want to, so you must make sure that all your teams are well set.
That's true.
You must make sure that you have everything correct. Okay, so but if in the case you now have a pickup shoot or you have a process whereby everything didn't go according to plan, you have to bear the loss. You have to bear this loss, and that's why sometimes you see most directors, they don't want to take risk in like maybe trying to change somebody they are already used to, because they know how capable that particular person is. But at the same time, this can be maybe people can say, okay, I don't used to have opportunities. Okay, because most people like to stick with their guns. Those people that distrusted, because filmmaking actually is a very, very risky business. It's a risky business, but at the same time, it's a worthwhile business because you're telling stories. You're telling your stories. So yeah, I think if something like that happened, you have to bear your loss. That's just what it means. But the ability for you to be able to recoup, because now from your question, it's like you've already lost the shoot. But if you've not lost the shoot and you're right into the shoot, just like what I just said, the ability for you to be able to make changes right on spot, it's essential. Okay, so in other words, you can redelegate tasks instantly, quickly, and that's where we talk about ability to understand this AI, understand your tools, understand your gadget and stuff like that.
Of course,
to be able to dispense
you have
information
to be at all times.
Exactly, to be able to dispense information as early as possible, follow up on calls, follow up. So if you are not versatile, if you are not open to change, if you are not open to learn new things, because learning new things is change. Okay, so if you are not open to that, yeah, you might have to struggle on that. So, but shout out to the new producers and directors. They are all top notch and they understand the job.
We have to give them shout out to the producers.
Yeah, definitely.
Good storylines to enjoy movies.
Exactly. So, yeah, so that's it. So, it's been an interesting conversation. It's been an interesting conversation so far, so good. I've been looking at change, been looking at how important change is in a human life, because as a human being, it's only important that we change. Okay. And for me, like I said earlier, I said change is evolution. Okay. If you don't follow through with the change, evolution will catch up with you. Okay. And when evolution catch up with you, it's not really a fair thing.
Bro, to summarize everything, I'll say that if you want to change the way you earn, the way your business works, you need to put the things of the way you think. You have to change the way you think. Whatsoever thing you want to do, write it down first. whatever thing you want to achieve, your goals, you write them out, then you follow on your goals. You're consistent with them, and just keep doing them day by day. Turn them to a daily routine, and you see a bigger change in the way you handle things, and you see a bigger change in the way you want to, the way you want your way of living to go.
Exactly. That's what we're talking about. Though some people say change does not used to exist. That's another theory of thought. But one thing you cannot argue with is that there is change taking place, whether you're seeing it or you're not seeing it. There is change. So you need to adapt that. You need to adapt that mindset to be able to change with the time. If something new comes out, for you to be able to thrive as an SMA, if something new comes out, make sure you follow up on that thing. Anything, make sure you always equip yourself with policies, government policies, equip yourself with new things, new conversation, equip yourself with trendy topics, because equipping yourself with trendy topics will give you an avenue to be able to, jump on, okay, this is what is trending, this is what is going on right now, this is the feed that I am. How can I use this particular thing that is trending? Like just rightly say, we just talked about AI and how important AI is creating a massive change in all industries. So you can jump on it. You can say, okay, how is AI creating this thing? You can jump on it. Just try to learn one or two tricks around it. Okay, if you get to know that, okay, this is what is going on in my industry. I know it's difficult, but just try to know one or two things about it so that you will not be an idle man. Because if you're not equipping yourself, if you're not changing yourself, if you're not updating yourself, updating means change. Okay. If you're not updating yourself, it means that you're not updating your business. And every businessman, you need to update your business.
Of course.
Exactly. So you need to update your business.
For rebranding.
And that's why it's called rebranding.
Yeah.
Rebranding. You need to change. You need to follow up with what is on.
You need to follow.
Exactly. You need to be in vogue.
You need to be in the system.
Exactly. And it can be tiring. Let's be sincere. It can be tiring. Try to catch up with this, trying to catch up with that.
Because that's your peak.
Exactly.
You want to stay in that peak for as long as you can, because you don't want to wear out. You don't want to depreciate.
Exactly. And that is where delegation of tasks also matters a lot when it comes to change. Now, I just made mention of it can be very tiring, wanting to follow up with the change. Oh, this new AI. Is this AI? All right. But one thing that differentiates the big players for the medium players and the small players is their ability to be able to change with time. If you can't do it yourself, you get trusted hands that can do it. You get trusted hands that can follow up with the business. Then you monitor the trusted hand. You get people to also monitor the trusted hand. So that's why you see reviews always happen every day. Reviews always happen in government policies. Review always happen in business policies. So for you, if you are equipped, if you know that, okay, this new government policy, just like we talked about the tax, the opportunities that is out there for tax people, you're able to you follow it. Musa followed it back. A Musa entrepreneur sees such policies to say, okay, I can use this. A Chinedu person sees it and say, okay, I can use this. A Tunde sees this and say, okay, I can see this. A Osaon sees it to say, I can use this. And they use those policies and they use it to create change in their business. And so that's why you need to follow what is trending. You need to follow up with what is trending. You need to follow up. It's very important.
Very, very.
It's very, very important.
Imagine. Take for example, you Zainab. Yeah. So you're good at baking. So and then what you just have to do is to register for your team. Yeah. Then you apply for a loan. That's not starting. You're applying for a loan, then you could get a loan from fintech or microfinance for about 3 million upward. You invest this in your bakery business, and then you start expanding.
Exactly.
So from there, you employ people because only your ends can create the numbers.
But the powerful thing is, this is cool that, just like my colleague rightly said, you can get loans, you can do this, you can do that as an SME. But here's the truth, here's the fact. If you're not following, if you're not trying to equip yourself, like get to know what is trending, get to know these new policies that is out there, you can't know that this loan is out there for you to even go and say, okay, I want to apply for this loan and then use it to transform my business or to change my business.
And even if you didn't follow up, you can get people to help you follow up. That's why we have consultants.
Exactly.
Other people, professionals in the business.
Exactly.
That are there for you to consult, to let them know that, okay, where do you think I can put my money? What do you think is in vogue that I can put my money to have to give me a very reasonable word?
Speak with professionals. Exactly.
You speak to professionals.
And there's another thing again, I want to add. Okay. And I've seen this happen a lot, while trying to develop my business back then. And you see many people, they are afraid to speak to professionals. They're like, oh, I don't want to speak with this professional. He's going to charge me. I don't have the money to be able to pay. Let me just be managing my business like this. No. Okay. Because this professional, you are feeling that, oh, you can't afford them, but you speak to them, try to call them. We have a lot of, depending on your goals, depending on what you are targeting. Okay, if you know you're just a startup, there's no need trying to go and shoot for the highest professional. But there are other professionals within that ladder that you can follow through. The one that is just starting up as well, but is in that field. You can talk to that person, and he can give you one or two advice that you don't know of, and you can take advantage of such advice and then use it to your own advantage by building your business.
These young ones as well, they're also involved. This technological new advancement that has come to stay.
Exactly.
And are coming up with the coming generation is skyrocketing into the generation alphas.
Yes, exactly.
So generation late millennials, Zs, and them. But they own the generation alphas, they own this AI of the thing. They are going to be expecting it. So you can always, like you say, you can always
take advantage of them.
Take advantage of it.
Take advantage of exactly.
It's not necessarily the top class.
Exactly.
Those you can go for people that were within your
budget. Exactly. So should I go and pay this person so amount of money? I will just use that money to upgrade my business. But that's where you're refusing to change. Okay? Because when you get that information right now and you know, okay, this is what my business is lacking, you start working towards that. Now because you already have a previous information. Now you're trying to download a new kind of information, and that is where change comes in. That's where following up with the trend comes in. So change is a very, very big topic, and we'll keep on talking about it. We'll keep on having conversation about it. But it's a very massive topic whereby we can't really exhaust. There's so much change you can implement into your business. If you look inward, like in the beginning of this conversation, we made mention of printing out your bank statement so that you can even, have an idea of, okay, this is where I'm putting my money. How many SME brands do that? How many MSME brands do that? Oh, exactly. Because you feel like, what I want to go stress
what do I want to spend myself for?
There are a lot of information you can get from your bank.
Exactly.
Some people just feel like bank is just go there, deposit, withdraw. There's a lot of information you can actually call your bank. You ask what are the opportunities that my bank have? What are the opportunities people have for SME brands? You can do that. So it's your right to do that. As long as you've opened an account with any bank, you have the right to go and ask these questions, and they're going to tell you. And then you can capitalize on those questions, those answers that you've gotten for those questions, and use it in your business. And that's change. So if you're waiting around and say, oh, okay, I'm waiting for one big thing to happen, one big change to happen, it doesn't happen that way. Change creeps up on you.
Exactly. Change comes gradually.
Exactly.
And you have to pick up the pace.
You have to pick up the pace. So we're going to be ending the conversation here right now, because if we want to start talking, there's so much. Change is so big that we can't really touch it all. Like, because I just remembered something I wanted to say again. Like, initially on the conversation, I made mention of the whole Benue stuff and everything. Like, how many people understand that, okay, food scarcity and stuff like that also ties down to the insecurity that is going on. But you see those things and you don't even bother about it. You're just thankful at least that, this thing is not directly happening to me. Okay, but you can still buy your banana. You can still buy your plantain.
At the back of your head, you don't even see it as something very effective.
Yes, you don't see it like there's a ripple effect coming about. But because you can still buy your yam, you can still buy your banana that other day. But
no, you're buying them at an expensive rate.
Yes, but the more this thing, it might not drop at first. It might not drop radically that first, but it's happening because now land is big gone. Things are going off, and exactly farmers, and so which means the
things are just
exactly.
So that's causing a lot of food scarcity, and it can even cause famine.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying that from those set of people that normally do this farming, okay, before this insecurity is restricting them from going to the farm, and then you see less produce is being produced and being transported, and so things just start getting increased and everything. But that being said, you just have to keep on changing. You just have to keep on following the trend, and keep on following the trend, keep on changing, keep on empowering your business, and subscribe, watch, and till we see.
That's it. That's all, guys. So you just have to, for you to be able to implement change in your business, think about the way you act, think about what you put into your business that works, what are you consistent with, and the way you interact with your customers or your employees, and how you put your multiple streams of income into use. If you implement change for your business, and I promise you all of this will work out fine.
So you've heard it already. So yeah, change. It's not a topic we can finish, but it's a topic we can continue having each episode.